Digimon Masters Online might be the most boring MMO I've ever had the displeasure of playing. The opening is nonsensical, the 3-hour-long tutorial is incredibly dull, the quests are so repetitive it's bordering on satire of the genre. The plot is in no way connected to any of the gameplay events, the controls and systems are incredibly badly explained, the new player experience is badly structured, and small mistakes highlight the lack of care this game has been made with, such as how all the text boxes have overflowing words and letters. Essential systems are never once mentioned, and for some reason, despite playing on an English server, my Digimon speaks to me and offers me vital gameplay advice in Spanish. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm Josh Strife Hayes and this is Worst MMO Ever, a series where I play every MMO I can find in a quest to find the worst. Drop a like on the video or sub to the channel for more MMO stuff. Ring the bell for all the future notifications. As usual, a massive thank you to all the supporters on Patreon and Twitch who keep the channel alive. More on how you can support at the end. For now, let's begin. I never got into Digimon as a kid because in my primary school the playground cliques were drawn based on your morning TV routine. What cartoons you watched in the morning defined you as a person. And there was a three-way war between the Pokemon kids, the Monster Rancher kids, and the Digimon kids, and we all knew the other two programs were inferior in every way. The only thing we all agreed on was that Jackie Chan Adventures was cool. Fans of that show got on with everyone. So Digimon never really took hold at my school, the card game never really took off, so I don't have any real nostalgia for this franchise, so I'm going to be judging it purely as a gameplay experience, and my god, it is bad. First sign of trouble, Digimon Masters Online comes with Zing Code 3, the incredibly invasive anti-cheat system usually bundled with Chinese or Korean knockoff MMOs. I've installed and removed this thing so many times on this series, it feels like going back to an abusive ex on again, off again. First off, I choose a server. I'll go with Lilithmon because it looks like it has the most plot. And now we create our tamer. Digimon are digital creatures who change into digital champions to save the digital world, so of course they're all teenagers. I'll go with this 14-year-old super smart kid who apparently graduated from college at age 12 and definitely isn't the writer's insufferable self-insert. Now we choose a Digimon. First text issue. Notice how the text description box has various words that are cut off by the letter and then simply start or end mid-word on each line. This game does this with every single text box. They do line breaks by letter, not by word. Most Digimon are locked behind a paywall. We'll look at how pay to win the game is later. For now, I'll go with Agumon. The opening section is a giant tutorial and begins with a picture of all the keys. Memorize this. I also like how it doesn't actually link every key to a specific action. It just highlights some of them as important. So you're told, this will matter, but you don't know why. Intro movie plays. It's very robot anime. Then the game starts. WASD movement. You can also left click. We start in a blank digital void being followed by Optimus Prime. There's no music and no real sense of emotion of any kind, and I'm not happy or sad or excited or scared, I just am. The tutorial box to the bottom left tells us kill Death Exmon, the other large floating thing in the room with us, so I double click and my Optimus Prime goes to attack it. I can issue specific commands using the F1 through 5 keys, so behold, combat. This is the opening of your game. This is what you want players to judge you on. This is the only part of your game almost 100% of people who play it will see. This is the gameplay you think highlights your best aspects and will create a desire to play more. Defeat Death Exmon, then some random meeple spawns, and they're apparently bad, and we have to protect Project Arc, whatever that is, so we attack this meeple, we win, and then the game tells us the computer is being rolled back, and now we appear in a plaza in some Japanese town. Have a chat to Miki, this rather nice 3D render of the character appears, and oh god, almost every line of her dialogue is doing that letter overflow or underflow thing. This is such poor build quality. Did no one check this? Miki explains there is trouble. We need to protect real people from realized Digimon. Digimon who have come from the digital world to the real world until we can return them to the digital world, and we should speak to Pawn Chess Pmon. Hang on, what? Okay, I can kind of suspend my disbelief that the whole digital stuff becomes real and dangerous, but Pawn Chess Pmon. That looks like there's a spelling mistake. Why is that random letter P there? And then I'm correct. The character is called Pawn Chessmon. It's standing right next to you. There's a spelling mistake in the first dialogue box of the opening of the tutorial, and the mistake is a character's name who is literally stood right next to the character who says it wrongly. Did anyone proofread or quality control this game at all? It feels like a first draft. Chessmon gives us an egg. We hatch it and create a Digimon because they're digital creatures, but they must be created from eggs. To do this, a magic egg hatching machine appears and we have to click on low data repeatedly. Digimon honestly feels like a game made about a digital world, written by people who don't actually understand that much about digital stuff. Also, notice how the text of the word change overflows the button icon. That's just sloppy. Hatching an egg means a loud noise and then a really over-the-top animation showing what that Digimon may one day digivolve into. One of the aspects I dislike about Digimon compared to Pokemon is, with Pokemon you can kind of see where the evolutions came from and where they're going to. You put them side by side and they make sense. With Digimon, things get so crazy and so wild, there is no way you can tell that one evolution is in any way connected to the previous. Don't try and impress me with your flashy visuals when you can't even get text spacing right. Let's start with the basics. Talk to the local doctor, get given a load of items we'll probably need later, and now get sent to find Mary. If you're on a mission and you open your map, you'll open whichever map your actual target is on, which is handy when you're both on the same map, and as we'll see later, infuriating when you're not. If you're assigned to find an NPC or an enemy mob, it will have a little radar animation around it, and you'll have this constant sonar beep. It's great they've made it easy to find, it's not great they've made the sonar beep quite so loud. So I follow the path and I spot some wild Digimon, and I think, I've been trained in combat, I may as well do it again. So I double click and send my Agumon to attack, and as I do, a text box appears above my Digimon's head in Spanish. Great. I somehow messed up and managed to pick the only Spanish Agumon. Fantastic. Everything else in the game is in English. Agumon himself is in English whenever he's out of combat. But in combat, it's Spanish all the way. You can tell when wild Digimon are dangerous because they have the words, "about to mischief," above their heads. I'm not going to beat around the bush. This is bad. Everything about this feels low budget. We're in any town, Japan, with bad spelling and bad formatting and bad combat, and just listen to the instantly forgettable generic background music. The music doesn't change, by the way, for the entire zone, no matter your situation. There's no combat music, no diegetic location music, no specific sound effects. It's just background anime music the entire time. I get sent to defeat 5 Kunamon and collect the data boxes they drop. I discover I have a decent combat ability called Baby Flame. Your Digimon has health and mana, or HP and DS, both restore when you're not in combat. After killing 5 Kunamon, I get told, good job, now go and kill 10 Kunamon and 5 Flymon. Okay, kill X quests, I can see where this is going. Combat isn't tactical at all, it's just double click and wait, use the abilities when you can and you'll win. Eat some restore food if stuff gets low, and you'll be showered with so much early restore food you can never lose, provided you're paying even the slightest bit of attention. Talk to Miki, pass over the data about the Flymon, get sent to talk to the manager. Then they send me to talk to the vending machine and buy 10 bottles of water. Not making it up, that's the quest. So I do that, and then my Agumon digivolves. A Digimon has several digivolved forms, making it more powerful, but while in a digivolved form, it will drain the trainer's DS, shown by the blue bar underneath my health. I'll discover later you can control which digital evolution you want your Digimon to be. The bigger the better, but they don't last as long. Get told to go and kill 10 Tokamon. While in combat, my Digimon does talk in English. I'll be honest, this is awful. The first handful of quests are all basically the same. The point of a tutorial is to teach the player a mechanic and then place them into a situation where they need to use that mechanic correctly. Then teach them another mechanic, then place them into a situation that requires use of both. This whole section is just great. Double-click the stuff for about 3 hours. I get given a memory erase item and told to go and wipe the memories of a local boxer and his daughter. I don't know why they gave this random NPC a job, or why they chose boxer, or why this had to be his daughter. But the relationship between this boxer and his daughter as they stand next to each other while I wipe their memory is the deepest, most fleshed out character arc in the entire game, and it's 3 dialogue boxes long. I get told to go and kill 10 Agumon. I wonder what happens when you die, so I find out. Unfortunately, the game doesn't end then uninstall itself. Instead, you get told your partner-mon has fell down. Notice how they use the word partner-mon and not the actual name of the Digimon you had. Clearly, programming the game to use the specific name of the specific Digimon you have, despite the fact you can name your Digimon, was too difficult. They had to use the generic phrase partner-mon, and then you get sent back to the start, and you have to now wait for your HP and DS to refill or use some of your own items. The game gives me some more tips in Spanish, thanks for that, and I return to killing the Agumon. This is trying. Honestly, I've been bored before, I've been annoyed before, I've been unimpressed before, but this feels like I'm being pranked. This is every single bad design choice rolled into one. My inventory is full of junk items I've either not had explained or don't need to use. There's no real narrative structure to what we're doing or why we're here. There's no skill needed in combat beyond eat food, and that's the mechanic you're so focused on you've made it the main point of every quest. And the small mistakes are piling up, the music is slapped on like an afterthought. Digimon is not a small franchise, and yet this game feels cheap. If I was a Digimon fan, I'd feel insulted by this. It feels like something you'd find in a first-year game design student's deleted ideas pile. It feels like the first step in a process which never got finished because everyone involved in that process realised it was a terrible foundation. My Digimon then says, I have unused skill points. Well, that's great, but I've not been shown where to spend them, what I can spend them on, or what window I need to be at, so I just click around randomly. I'll sort this out later. I don't seem to be failing or need them right now. Go and kill 5 black Garurumon. You know what, let's work through the junk in my inventory. You have a level up gift box, which gives you excessive amounts of healing and experience boosting items every single level. The created original gameplay progress curve has been abandoned in favour of rush through mechanics. And oh cool, we've got some fashion stuff. I equip some headphones. I look like some middle-aged, out-of-touch executive's idea of what cool people dress like. I have an item which unlocks extra inventory slots. In fact, I have many of them, but you need to activate and confirm each one of them one at a time. And I have loads, so I just keep clicking. I want you to realise this is the best design choice they could come up with for this system. I've opened all the level up gift boxes. I have 79 chicken combos, a food item which fully restores both trainer and Digimon HP and Dios, and you can spam eat them, so I am basically invincible. Go and kill 10 Digimon. This is a joke now, but I'm not laughing. I'm just sat here, zoning out. The music hasn't changed, the combat mechanics haven't changed, the story hasn't changed, the enemy model is different, but that's just a skin-deep change. Oh, I have discovered where you spend skill points. Pressing X brings up the active Digimon profile. You can improve your skills here, and when I do not notice a difference. I've played a lot of MMOs, and I can safely say this is one of the worst openings. It's so bland. The world feels sterile. It feels clinical. If you could inject anesthetic into game design, this would be the result. After I've killed 10 Digimons, I get told to go and kill 5 evolved Digimons, which are exactly the same model, just a little bigger. The actual experience of fighting them is the same. So I do that, and then I chat to Mary, and she says, oh great job, go and kill 10 Demi-Meramons. This game is a dark comedy, a parody of design, a satirical look at what one day MMOs could unfortunately descend into. Whoever designed this is laughing at everyone who plays it. Talk to Miki, get given a quest item, I need to scan the Soulmon, so I target a Soulmon, right click the item in my inventory which successfully scans it, and then she says, cool, go and kill 15 of them. I hate this, but it's done no one thing monumentally wrong, it's just done everything badly enough. The music is bad, I hate the sterilised world, I hate the lack of personality, I hate how it's workable but emotionless. This is the MMO equivalent of a school dinner. Have you ever been anywhere and there's been a small child asking you constantly, am I annoying you? Am I annoying you? Am I annoying you? Am I annoying you? And they're not actually doing anything specifically annoying, but the act of asking, am I annoying you, is annoying in itself. I feel the same way toward this game. It's not fundamentally broken, it's just giving me far too many reasons to dislike every individual aspect. Have you ever been invited to a wedding where you're too old to sit at the kids' table but not quite old enough to sit at the adults' table, so you're caught in this horrible who am I and what am I doing here existential bubble where you don't belong? This game feels like that. Go back to Mary, get sent to talk to a singer, and then we complete 2 quests, almost an entire quest line, by talking to this NPC 4 times. You could have condensed all of this into one speech bubble, and then he eventually says, cool, go and kill 10 Keramon. Look, the enemy design isn't awful, and while the world itself is sterile and clearly fabricated and devoid of any personality or emotion, the enemies look fine. There's a decent colour palette, there's nice proportions, there's not terrible combat animations. And after killing 10 Keramon, do we finally get some new gameplay mechanics or some new reason to do stuff? No, we get told go and kill 5 Chrysalismon. This is a terrible tutorial. You've made the player do the same thing for the past 2 hours. They know this by now. You've not challenged them or surprised them or put them in any sort of struggle. You've actually done the opposite, with every NPC praising how amazing I am, despite the fact I've not done anything difficult. Maybe it's just a Japanese design thing. Maybe Digimon players never got praised enough as kids and need to live vicariously through this terrible game. Go and talk to the doctor and spot another very specific graphical issue. The quest NPCs have an icon above their heads. It looks like a small text box, but look at this. The icon overlaps some scenery, but underlaps others. The off-map road and grass and water skybox seem, for some reason, to take graphical priority and override the chat icon based on the angle you are looking at the NPC from. So unless you're approaching this NPC from the correct angle, you can't see the rather important icon above its head. How? Why? What do you need to do to fix this? The game released in 2009. It's been out for 13 years. Finally, finish every Kill X quest on the first map and get sent to the main hub. Digimon Online has many small maps, but players seem to all congregate here. Everyone's just standing around showing off their massive Digimon, with lots of player-owned shops, all advertising the same thing. And oh look, another design choice I hate. NPC vendors all lined up in a nice row. It's mechanically efficient, but artistically and emotionally vapid. Instead of creating a living, thriving, believable 3D world that a player can adventure around, you're basically saying, look, we know this is a game, here's all the vendors you might need in one easy to find spot, buy what you want and go and play the game. Chat to Richard, the leader of whatever this place is, we level up in a burst of light and then he sends us to the digital world of Silver Lake. Our Digimon has digivolved into a much more powerful Shine Greymon. We chat to this thing and gain 3 levels just through talking and then get sent to go and kill even more stuff. The only positive is while I'm here, I open up my level up box and find a cool hat. As for consumables, I now have 441 full HP DS refills. I feel completely disconnected from any sense of achievement or personal pride or danger. I feel like I've been isekai'd into an MMO, but I had God mode on when I did and nothing is a challenge. I'm sure there's going to be someone in the comments saying, oh, it gets good at endgame. That's like saying, please eat 4 courses of shit because the dessert is acceptable. If it gets good there, then just start there. This isn't doing anything. This entire gameplay experience isn't setting up plot or characters, it's not creating emotionally engaging narratives, it's not teaching me anything I didn't learn 3 hours ago. This is filler for the sake of filler. This is forcing the player to go through some kind of horrific assault course of gameplay just to prove they deserve fun. Even if you love Digimon, you won't play this. How it still has 600 daily active players, I'll never know. I think these people might legitimately be trapped in the digital world and this is some kind of weird cry for help. Speak to Patamon, get sent to go and kill Palmon, gain 700,000 experience for doing so. Quick note, game designers, please lower your numbers. You don't make things more exciting by just sticking zeros on the end, you make numbers longer to read. This is the first time we experience aggressive enemies. Thankfully they're not too much of a danger and we can run away, or we can try. The hitboxes on the scenery and the landscape are awful. Some hills you can run up and down, some you can't, and there's no visual difference between the two. Some trees have hitboxes so far away from the actual model it's basically an invisible wall. It's a real guessing game. At least this area looks nicer. The skybox with digital lines looks lovely. The plants use a vibrant colour palette. The scale is nicely held. You can't swim in the water water, but it does add a nice bit of visual flair. Digimon Masters Online isn't a terrible looking game, it's just bland and instantly forgettable with so many flaws. I don't think they took any level of pride in making it. Now, after 4 hours of mindless killing, we get told about Digimon types: data, virus, or vaccine. They act like the combat triangle, each being strong or weak against the other. And we're told we need to change our active summon Digimon and kill 5 of each enemy type to see how the combat experience changes whenever you use the correct type, except it doesn't change. Every single enemy goes down at the same speed with the same attacks, no matter what their types are. If you wanted type advantage, then not only should you have put this at the very start of the combat tutorial, you should actually make them relevant. God, let's read some reviews. Fun, but also pay to win, but you need years to months or maybe years to be a pro without paying. Decent game to lose yourself in grinding and doing quests, but it is pay to win. All the tips and chat is in Spanish, even though I have my language set to English. 30 minutes in a quest breaks pretty crap for a free game, on par with Fallout 76 for would have to be paid to play. Good waste of the 30 minutes, 1 out of 10 does not get. Después de jugar un rato fui enviado al comienzo y no me dejaba salir. No hay GM ni explicación del porqué. Además el had sistema pesta. Bad game run by a bad company. It is currently a pay-to-win game. You can hardly evolve being free-to-play. The best Digimon are only accessible through loot boxes. Disgusting practice with 0.1% of getting the best Digimon just in order to make the player spend a lot on loot boxes. I don't recommend at all. I know you're starving for a Digimon game, but just don't. You cannot hand in quests if your inventory is full, and every quest gives you a load of random items, so I'm just throwing away random stuff. Don't know if it matters, don't really care. Those reviews did mention that the shop was quite expensive, so let's see how bad it really is. The shop is divided into categories, so let's check out trainer-based items. A plus 1000% experience boost. Well, okay, so we're probably creeping very slightly into pay-to-win territory if you can pay to level 10 times faster. You can also buy jump boosters to instantly move from map to map because adventure and travel is for poor people, and you can pay to expand your inventory. They really did look at every single mechanic in this game and ask, how can we monetize this? Even the chat function is pay for advantage, because a megaphone is needed to send server-wide messages, but a high-rank megaphone will send those same messages, but in pink. You can pay more money to stand out in global chat. How about Digimon? Well, the shop has 49 pages of premium items related to Digimon, from Digimon themselves, to eggs to grow them, to level boost, to enhancements, to storage for all of your extra Digimons. More money basically means more power. But look, cosmetic items aren't just cosmetic, they have stats, and you can rent them. Vintage denim jeans have mechanical in-game advantages, and you can rent them for 1, 7, 15, or 30 days. Or you can just buy them permanently. Everything in the shop needs crowns, so I click buy crowns to check prices and nothing happens. I click buy item on individual items and again, nothing happens. And eventually, after clicking more, I get this warning. I must enable Steam Overlay to use the shop. But it is enabled. It has always been enabled. So I try again and nothing. So I Google the problem and wow, this isn't a new thing. This has been happening for years. People have major issues buying anything through Steam, and this is the single biggest red flag in regards to care of the game. You need to understand, no matter how bad a game's design may be, the one thing a company owning it will always do is make it as easy as possible to give them money. This is the one system that will always work flawlessly. Even Gameforge or GamerGo may have some terrible games, but the shop function is always fast and smooth. When a free-to-play game that is pay-to-win stops caring about the ability to pay, its main source of income has been compromised, and you know they have truly given up caring. I even go to the main company website, Game King, to find prices, and I can't. Thankfully, all the Game King games use the same currency, crowns, and I can find this image showing 50 crowns for $5. No discount for bulk buying. So Digimon Masters Online isn't even bothered about making its shop function work? If they can't keep the shop up to date, what chance do you think you have of anything else being up to date? By now, I'm playing mostly out of spite and morbid curiosity. I don't think it can get worse, but I want to see if they do somehow manage it. And yes, it can, with the map. If you're on a quest and you need to find someone, pressing M opens the map, but it opens the map they are on, not the map you are on. And the connections between the maps are not shown, so it's not actually that much use. Being told they are there means nothing if you have no connection between there and here. You need to manually reset the M key to stop showing your next quest NPC and instead start showing your current map and location. So onwards to the Silent Forest. It's basically a reskin of the main forest, but at night. Thanks, sign. I will indeed watch out for breasts. Everyone who just tabbed over from the second monitor now has to subscribe to the channel. I'm going to do this every video. Eventually I will get you all. Hand in the quests and then the main quest thread just ends. No signs on the map, no more NPCs marked, no more in the journal, not even a next quest at this level sign. You just lose all of the quest line. Wow. I use one of the free map jump items and return to the main hub, and I try to pick up something, anything, any kind of thread of adventure. Give me something to do. This big dude looks important, and talking to him starts this really awkward cutscene. Not only is it the first time the game has used this type of cutscene, but it's placed the avatars not quite in the corners. Was this designed for a different screen resolution and the resizing process has just moved everything inward? I was so distracted by the terrible graphical layout I completely missed the writing, and it is so bad I decided it needed dubbing over. Josh Strife, it's you. Good. I will deliver you a good news. Good news? That's right. If you're in charge of the security and protection of the digital world and the real world, you'll be very pleased with it. I wonder what it is. We finally found him. Who is he? Tell me, I really don't like the... We found where Agumon is located. Who is Agumon? Ha 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 ha! Agumon. There's still a long way to go. I can't believe there's someone who still doesn't know how to move around like that. Huh? What? So you need me to go and kill or find Agumon, but how do I get to the correct map? I don't know where you want me to go, and I don't have that location saved in my map jump ability. So I just wander around for a while, and eventually I find a train station. The location links in this game are a complete mess. There is the digital world, the real world, and a bit in between, and nothing is arranged simply. Look, even more spelling mistakes, this time quite important ones. The quest wants me to go to the Sandy station, but on the map it lists the Dandy station. Eventually I just give up and Google it again. It seems you need a level 99 Digimon to even make the journey. The quest it will give any player requires you to have a high level Digimon. Okay, I've given you 5 hours Digimon Masters online and you've given me nothing worth remembering. The game loses focus here and it didn't even have that much to begin with. A new fan of the franchise would cry if this was the game they got. An MMORPG player would feel cheated and our standards are pretty damn low. What was the opening with killing Death Xmon? What was that city? Why was I in the forest? Why can't I keep exploring as a visual tourist? Why have you level locked the locations when they are quite nice to adventure around? I even checked the game's subreddit, and a few of the most recent posts are people asking how to leave the first area because the NPC they need to talk to has spawned behind a locked gate, a gate which opens after you talk to that NPC. Digimon Masters Online is such a failure of a game on so many levels. It feels like one of those made in 24-hour challenges, but it's been made by people who hate games, MMOs, and Digimon. It feels like a first draft of a first draft. I don't personally like Digimon as a franchise, but the fans deserved better than this. So, to end the video, I will award Digimon Masters Online Horrible de Dias. Gracias por ver. Gracias al apoyo de Patreon. £1 la montura. Lee la descripción para Twitch, Twitter, Discord y Patreon. Que tengas un lindo día.